After World War II, many Americans dreamed about moving away from the city and buying a house out in the suburbs. Through a government program, millions of war veterans were guaranteed home loans, and housing development sprung up on land outside the cities. Suburban communities offered larger houses, bigger yards, better schools. Gasoline was cheap and the driving was easy. New highways built after the war enabled suburbanites to commute back into the city for work. American families loved their new way of life. But now, with higher prices at the pump and everywhere else, Americans are taking a second look at their love affair with the suburbs. Urban high-rise builders, such as Stan Slaughter of Paradigm Development Corporation in Washington, D.C., have noticed the trend.
As people walk in the door, that's certainly one of the things they're talking about, is how do I get out of my car, utilize the Metro rail system.
Slaughter is one of many developers who are building apartments within walking distance of subway stations around the city. They are also close to shopping and movie theaters. But high-rises are not for everyone. Many Americans still want the house, the yard, and the neighborhood, just closer to the city. Matt Wenzel and his wife Rebecca are a good example. They chose to live in a quiet community right next to Washington, D.C.
If we had our choice, we would spend zero time in the car. I go for bike rides, my wife, my boys go for bike rides. We absolutely love doing that. We play outside in the backyard. We have a tree house that the kids play around in.
But Rebecca says there is a trade-off. A location closer to town costs more money and perhaps less room.
We don't have the biggest kitchen, we don't have a fancy bathroom,
Yeah.
You know, we don't have the same sort of things we would probably have further out in the suburbs, but that's okay, you know, time with the family seems more important.
The shorter commute to work has meant Rebecca and Matt can spend more time with each other and their kids. Others share that drive to spend less time in the car. According to the Federal Highway Administration, in March of this year, as gas prices were climbing higher, Americans drove almost 20 billion fewer kilometers on public roads than in March of the previous year. Bike stores report that in the past 6 months, the number of commuters who bike to work has soared. More Americans are also parking their cars and taking public transportation. Urban properties are more expensive than their suburban counterparts, but Stan Slaughter says they are a dependable investment.
They become increasingly valuable as traffic congestion, as the cost of commuting in an urban area like Washington continue to increase.
So whether it is uncertain gas prices, or a goal to spend less time commuting, or a desire to walk and bike more, some Americans think the grass is greener in the city instead of the suburbs. Penelope Poulou, VOA News.